Federal takeover in the district. Now he's threatening to do the same in other cities, including Chicago. So how soon could some other cities see a similar situation unfold? It is one of the big topics today on Face the Nation. CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe is in today moderating Face the Nation. Good morning to you. Good to see you. Who's on the show today?
Marcella, great to see you. Happy Labor Day weekend. We have Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Who better to ask those questions? We'll also talk to Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. We went to Chicago to talk to him since it seems the Windy City may be the next city that sees some kind of federal intervention. Cindy McCain, the World Food Program's executive director, will join us after a recent visit to Gaza. And Dr. Celine Gounder, the CBS News medical contributor, will be here to talk about the shakeup at the CDC. Plus, we'll be joined by Jennifer Jacobs, Karen Tumulty, and Rachel Bade, three women who know what they're talking about when it comes to what's going on here in Washington. Marcella, all that coming up at 10:30.
Yeah, and of course, a lot has been going on in Washington over the last several weeks. What do we know about the potential timeline for the National Guard, ICE expansion potentially in other cities right now? I know Chicago has been in the talks quite a bit with some pushback from Chicago as well.
We've seen pushback from the mayor this weekend. Governor Pritzker, who we spoke with Friday in Chicago, calls it un-American. It looks as if we will see some kind of federal operation start up in the coming days, likely this week in Chicago, mostly focused on immigration matters. So we talked to the governor about what he would do in response to all that, and we hope to get the latest details on those operations from the Homeland Security Secretary when she's here.
Yeah. In some of your conversations, recent reporting, what do we know about how Democrats plan to fight back against this federal takeover, the ramping up and expansion of ICE in many cities? How do they plan to fight back against the Trump administration right now?
Well, they'll do it at least in part in the courts should the National Guard be involved, because while what we've seen here in D.C. is one thing, given that the District of Columbia, of course, is a federally controlled area, not an independent state, the governor in Illinois, the mayor of Chicago have said, we're not asking for any kind of military deployment. So if the president attempts that, it's in violation of federal law, and we'll see him in court. When it comes to other federal agents coming to town, if they're there to deal with crime, that's one thing. If they're there to do immigration work, that's another. And it's the immigration work that they'll likely leave to the feds to do on their own. The crime work, they say, look, we're happy to partner with ATF, with DEA, with the FBI if they want to send more personnel. But if it's the military or if it's focused on immigration, we take some issue with that.
Yeah, certainly a lot to keep our eye on. Switching gears a little bit, you mentioned this. The CDC, of course, dealing with a lot of turmoil right now. What does this mean for Americans? What should we be looking out for when it comes to public health and policy?
Well, there's big concern among those that have left the agency in recent days that the people now put in charge of the agency don't necessarily have a good grasp of all the intricacies of public health, both the messaging portions, the policy aspects, but the science as well. And there are some big meetings coming up soon regarding the future of vaccines and whether or not the federal government's going to put any restrictions or make changes to how exactly they're distributed or who can have access to them. And so that's part of what these experts that quit are warning about. There's just also the general concern that Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, the health secretary who now oversees the CDC, and his team are in essence chipping away at the decades of work done to build up public confidence in public health systems. And so Dr. Gounder, when she's here, will help fill in some of those gaps and give us a good explanation of what to expect and what it is exactly you and I and everyone else who's thinking about all the things that can happen to your health in the fall will need to do.
Yeah, another busy show ahead. Ed O'Keefe, thanks so much. Great to see you on this holiday weekend. A reminder for you at home, Face the Nation airs right here at 10:30.